The champagne flute trembled in Emma Richardson's grip as she stared at the hotel receipts scattered across David's mahogany desk. 6 months of betrayal documented in black and white, each receipt a dagger through her chest. The penthouse felt suffocating now, its marble floors and panoramic views of Manhattan transformed into the walls of a beautiful prison. "Emma," David's voice cut through her shock from the doorway. She turned slowly, the evidence still clutched in her trembling hands. After 5 years of building his empire, of sacrificing her own dreams for his success, this was how it ended. With hotel bills and intimate photographs of him with Natasha, his so-called assistant. 6 months, she whispered, her voice raw with pain. "You've been planning this for 6 months." David's face cycled through emotions. Surprise, guilt, then something harder. Something that made Emma's blood run cold. "Emma, let me explain." "Explain what?" "How you replaced me with your mistress while I was working 18-hour days to save your company." She threw the receipts at his feet. "How you gave her my spot at the Innovation Awards. My life." "Our relationship had run its course," David said, his voice taking on that patronizing tone she'd grown to hate. "Natasha brings something fresh to the table. She understands the vision better." The casual cruelty of his words hit her like a physical blow. 5 years reduced to a business decision. "Get out," Emma said quietly. "This is my apartment. Then I'll leave." She pushed past him, her heart hammering against her ribs. "But David, this isn't over." In the elevator descending from their penthouse prison, Emma caught her reflection in the polished steel doors. The woman staring back looked hollow, defeated. But beneath the pain, something else flickered. Something dangerous. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Ms. Richardson, I believe we have a mutual problem with David Sterling. Coffee tomorrow." Alexander Thorne, Emma's breath caught. Alexander Thorne, David's biggest rival and the one man in tech who'd never bent the knee to Sterling Technologies. She typed back, "When and where?" The elevator doors opened to the lobby and Emma stepped out into the night air, leaving her old life behind. She had no idea that the man waiting for her answer was nursing his own wounds from David Sterling's betrayal, or that their meeting would ignite a fire that would consume everything they thought they knew about revenge and redemption. Her phone lit up with Alexander's reply. "Midnight. The Blackbird Lounge. Come alone." The Blackbird Lounge hummed with the kind of quiet luxury that whispered rather than shouted. Emma found Alexander Thorne in a corner booth, his dark silhouette cutting an imposing figure against the amber lighting. Even seated, his presence commanded attention. Sharp jaw, calculating eyes, and an aura of controlled danger that made her pulse quicken. "Ms. Richardson." He stood as she approached, his movements fluid despite the tension coiled beneath his expensive suit. "Thank you for coming." "Call me Emma." She slid into the booth across from him, studying his face. "And thank you for the lifeline. Though I'm curious how you knew about my situation." Alexander's smile was razor-sharp. "David Sterling isn't as subtle as he thinks. Word travels fast in our circles when a billionaire replaces his partner with his mistress." He signaled the bartender for 2 glasses of whiskey. "But my interest isn't entirely altruistic." "Of course it isn't." Emma accepted the drink, noting how Alexander's fingers lingered just a moment too long as he handed it to her. "What do you want?" "Sterling Technologies stole something from me 6 months ago. A revolutionary AI algorithm that my team spent 3 years developing." His voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. "David used inside information to poach my lead developer and steal the code. That algorithm is the foundation of his upcoming Innovation Awards presentation." The timeline clicked into place with sickening clarity. 6 months ago, the same time he hired Natasha, and the same time he started planning to phase me out. Alexander leaned forward, his eyes intense. He needed someone clean, someone without ties to his old operations, someone who could help him present the stolen technology as his own innovation. Emma's grip tightened on her glass. "So Natasha isn't just his mistress. She's his accomplice, among other things." Alexander's gaze held hers. "I want my algorithm back. I want David Sterling exposed, and I want him to feel what it's like to lose everything he's built. That makes 2 of us. Then we have a deal?" He extended his hand across the table. Emma stared at his hand, then back at his face. This man was dangerous. She could feel it in the way he watched her, like a predator assessing its prey. But right now she needed dangerous. "What's the plan?" she asked, not taking his hand yet. "You still have access to Sterling Technologies. Your credentials, your office, your contacts. David hasn't officially removed you yet because he's waiting until after the Innovation Awards to make it public." Alexander's smile turned cold. "He wants to humiliate you when he has his moment of glory. So we beat him to it. We destroy him." Alexander's voice was velvet over steel. "I get my technology back. You get your revenge. And David Sterling learns what happens when he underestimates the people he betrays." Emma felt something shift inside her. The woman who'd walked into this bar was still mourning, but the woman staring at Alexander Thorne now was someone else entirely. Someone harder. Someone ready to burn it all down. She reached across the table and clasped his hand. His grip was firm, warm, electric. "Partners," she said. "Partners." His thumb brushed across her knuckles, sending an unexpected jolt through her system. "There's one more thing you should know, Emma." "What's that?" Alexander's expression darkened. "David didn't just steal from me. The developer he poached, the one who gave him access to my algorithm." He paused, his jaw tightening. "That was my brother, Marcus. And 3 weeks ago, Marcus died in what the police are calling a convenient accident." Emma's blood ran cold. "You think David killed him?" "I know he did. I just can't prove it yet." Alexander's eyes burned with something beyond rage, something that looked like grief wrapped in fury. "So when I say I want to destroy him, I mean I want to take everything. His company, his reputation, his freedom, everything." Emma pulled her hand back slowly, her heart racing. "What exactly are you asking me to do, Alexander?" He leaned back, his face half-shadowed. "I'm asking if you're willing to cross lines you never thought you'd cross. Because once we start this, there's no going back, no redemption, just war." The question hung between them like a blade. "I'm in," Emma said, her voice steady. "Whatever it takes." Alexander's smile was beautiful and terrifying. "Then let's begin." 3 weeks into their partnership, Emma found herself in Alexander's private office, the city lights of Manhattan stretching endlessly below them. The space was all dark wood and leather, intimate in a way that made her acutely aware of every breath, every movement. "You're nervous," Alexander observed, pouring them both a drink. Not a question. A statement. "I'm about to walk back into Sterling Technologies and act like my heart isn't shattered," Emma said, accepting the glass. "Like I don't know what David's planning. Yes, I'm nervous. You're stronger than you think." Alexander moved closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne, cedar, and smoke. "David underestimated you. That's his fatal flaw." Emma met his gaze. Over the past weeks, something had shifted between them. The stolen glances, the touches that lingered too long, the late nights reviewing strategy that felt more like something else entirely. "What was she like?" Emma asked suddenly. "Your brother's wife. The one David also destroyed." Alexander's expression shuddered. "How did you know about Sarah?" "I didn't, but I know that look. That kind of rage isn't just about business or even a brother. It's personal." He turned away, staring out at the city. Sarah was Marcus's everything. When David manipulated Marcus into stealing the algorithm, it destroyed their marriage. She left him. 3 weeks later, Marcus was dead. His voice cracked, just barely. "Sarah blames herself. She's in a facility now, catatonic with grief." Emma's chest tightened. "Alexander, I'm so sorry." "Don't be sorry." He turned back to her, his eyes fierce. "Help me make him pay." "I will." She set down her glass and moved to him, placing a hand on his chest. She could feel his heart racing beneath the expensive fabric. "But I need to know something first. Is this just revenge for you, or is there something else happening here?" The air between them crackled with tension. Alexander's hand came up to cover hers. "You want honesty?" His voice was rough. "From the moment you walked into that bar, I've been fighting the urge to forget all about revenge and just lose myself in you. You're brilliant, Emma. You're fierce. And you're the most dangerous person I've ever met because you make me want things I have no right to want. And what if I want those things too?" His other hand came up to cup her face. "Then we're both playing with fire." "Maybe I want to burn," she whispered. Alexander's mouth crashed against hers, all the tension of the past weeks exploding in a kiss that tasted like whiskey and vengeance and something desperately close to salvation. Emma's fingers tangled in his hair as he pulled her closer, his hands spanning her waist like he was afraid she'd disappear. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, reality came crashing back. "This complicates things," Alexander said, his forehead pressed against hers. "Everything's already complicated." Emma stepped back, straightening her clothes. "Tomorrow I go back to Sterling Technologies. I plant the tracker on David's computer. I find the proof we need about Marcus's death. Emma." Alexander caught her wrist. "If he suspects anything, if you're in danger for even a second, you get out. Do you understand? I can handle David." "That's not what I asked." She softened, seeing the fear beneath his controlled exterior. "I'll be careful. I promise." The next morning, Emma walked through the glass doors of Sterling Technologies for the first time in 3 weeks. Her heels clicked against the marble floor with a confidence she didn't entirely feel. Employees stared, whispered. She kept her head high. David's office was on the top floor. She rode the elevator up, her heart a steady drum in her chest. The small device Alexander had given her felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds in her pocket. The doors opened, and there was Natasha, sitting at what used to be Emma's desk, wearing what used to be Emma's smile. "Emma." Natasha's voice dripped with false sympathy. "What are you doing here?" "I work here," Emma said coolly. "Or did David not have the courage to officially fire me yet?" "He's in a meeting." "Then I'll wait." Emma moved past her into David's office. It still smelled like his cologne, that scent that used to mean home and now meant nothing but lies. She had maybe 5 minutes before he returned. Her hands were steady as she pulled out the device. Moving to his computer, the door opened, but it wasn't David. It was Marcus Thorne, alive, very much alive. Emma's blood turned to ice. "Hello?" "Emma," Marcus said, closing the door behind him. "I think we need to talk about my brother's little revenge plot, and how you're going to help me finish what I started." Emma's mind raced, trying to process what she was seeing. Marcus Thorne, Alexander's supposedly dead brother, standing in front of her, very much alive, with a smile that was all wrong. "You're supposed to be dead," she breathed. "I know. Brilliant, isn't it?" Marcus moved closer, his eyes cold in a way that reminded her sickeningly of David. "My brother always was too sentimental, too trusting. It made him predictable." "What are you talking about?" "Sit down, Emma. This is going to take a minute." Marcus perched on the edge of David's desk, completely at ease. 3 years ago, I developed an algorithm that could revolutionize AI technology, worth billions. Alexander wanted to use it to help people, change the world, all that noble garbage. He laughed. "I wanted to get paid." Emma's hand tightened around the device in her pocket. "So you didn't betray Alexander. You partnered with David." "David and I have been working together from the start. The theft, the poaching, all of it was theater. Alexander needed a villain, and David was happy to play the part because it meant he got the algorithm and a convenient scapegoat if anything went wrong." Marcus's smile widened. "And then you came along. Perfect, brilliant, heartbroken Emma. The ideal weapon to keep Alexander focused on revenge instead of asking the right questions." The pieces clicked together with nauseating clarity. The accident, Sarah, all of it was staged. Sarah's fine. She's actually in Paris with a very generous settlement, happy to play the grieving widow. And my supposed death, please, a staged car crash, some dental records from a John Doe, and suddenly I'm free to work without Alexander breathing down my neck about ethics and responsibility. Emma's legs felt weak. "Does David know you're telling me this?" "David's about to have a very unfortunate accident of his own." Marcus's voice turned deadly. "He's served his purpose. The Innovation Awards are in 2 days. I'll present the algorithm as the grieving brother honoring Alexander's memory after Alexander tragically dies in a break-in at his office tonight." The blood drained from Emma's face. "No? Oh yes. And you're going to help me? Or I'll make sure the evidence points to you as Alexander's murderer." Jealous ex-girlfriend of David Sterling, seducing his rival for revenge. "It's almost too perfect." Emma's hand moved to her phone, but Marcus was faster. He grabbed her wrist, twisting it painfully until she dropped the device. I don't think so. He pocketed her phone. Now you're going to call Alexander from David's office line. You're going to tell him you have proof about my death and he needs to come alone. And when he arrives at the warehouse address I give you, my men will be waiting. I won't do it. Emma's voice shook with rage. Marcus pulled out a tablet, showing her a live feed. Her sister, Jessica, walking into her apartment building, unaware of the man following her. Emma's breath caught. Family is so important, don't you think? Marcus's voice was silk over steel. Make the call, Emma, or Jessica learns what happens when you disappoint me. Tears of fury burned Emma's eyes. She was trapped. Completely, utterly trapped. Fine, she whispered. I'll make the call. Marcus dialed Alexander's number on the office line, holding the phone to Emma's ear. It rang once, twice. Emma? Alexander's voice was warm with concern. Are you all right? You sound strange. Alexander, I found something. Emma forced her voice to stay steady, her mind racing for any way to warn him. Proof about Marcus. About everything. But I can't talk on this line. Can you meet me? Where? Marcus scribbled an address, holding it up. The old Riverside warehouse. Pier 47, please, Alexander. Come alone. I think I'm being watched. There was a pause. Emma's heart hammered. Please let him hear it. Let him understand something was wrong. I'll be there in 30 minutes, Alexander said finally. Emma, if you're in danger, tell me now. Marcus's hand tightened on her shoulder. A warning. Just hurry, Emma said, and the line went dead. Marcus released her, looking satisfied. Good girl. Now we wait. But Emma wasn't waiting. As Marcus turned to send a text, she grabbed the crystal paperweight from David's desk and swung it at his head with every ounce of strength she had. Marcus crumpled. Emma didn't wait to see if he was unconscious or worse. She grabbed her phone from his pocket and ran, her heels abandoned as she sprinted barefoot through Sterling Technologies, past shocked employees, into the stairwell. She had maybe 20 minutes to get to that warehouse before Alexander walked into a death trap. 20 minutes to save the man she'd fallen for. 20 minutes to stop a nightmare. Emma burst onto the street, flagging down a taxi with desperate waves. Pier 47, she gasped, throwing money at the driver. I'll pay you double to break every speed limit. The taxi lurched forward. Emma pulled out her phone, hands shaking, and called Alexander. It went straight to voicemail. No. No. She tried again. Again. Each time, voicemail. The warehouse loomed ahead, dark and menacing against the evening sky. Emma threw open the taxi door before it fully stopped, running across broken concrete toward the entrance. Inside, the vast space was filled with shadows and the smell of rust and river water. And in the center, illuminated by a single hanging light, Alexander stood facing 3 armed men. His eyes met hers across the distance. And in that moment, Emma saw him understand everything. The trap, her desperation, the choice she'd been forced to make. Emma, run! Alexander shouted. But she was already moving forward, screaming, It's Marcus! He's alive! This is all him! The gunshot was deafening in the enclosed space, and everything went dark. Emma woke to the steady beep of a heart monitor and the antiseptic smell of a hospital. Her shoulder burned with a fierce, focused pain. She turned her head slowly, and there was Alexander, slumped in a chair beside her bed, his hand wrapped around hers. His shirt was stained with blood. Her blood. Alexander, she whispered. His eyes snapped open, red-rimmed and fierce. Emma, thank God. He stood leaning over her, his hand coming up to cup her face. You took a bullet meant for me. You ran toward gunfire. What were you thinking? I was thinking I couldn't let you die. Her voice was rough. Marcus, is he? In custody. Along with his hired men and David Sterling. Alexander's jaw tightened. When you shouted that Marcus was alive, I had just enough time to signal my security team. They were already in position because I knew something was wrong the moment you called. You never call me Alexander when we're alone. It's always just Alex. Tears spilled down Emma's cheeks. He threatened Jessica. He was going to kill you. I didn't know what else to do. You warned me anyway. Alexander kissed her forehead gently. You could have gotten yourself killed, but you warned me anyway. Emma Richardson, you're either the bravest or the most reckless woman I've ever met. Maybe both, she said, managing a weak smile. Definitely both. His thumb traced her cheekbone. The police have everything. Marcus's staged death, the algorithm theft, David's role in all of it. They're both going to prison for a very long time. Your sister is safe. I have my company's technology back. It's over, is it? Emma searched his face. Alex, what are we now? We came together for revenge. Now that it's done, what's left? Alexander was quiet for a long moment, his eyes searching hers. I need to tell you something, and I need you to hear all of it before you decide anything. Emma's heart clenched. Okay. When Marcus first approached David with the algorithm, I knew something was wrong. I hired investigators. I knew about the staged death within a week. His voice was raw with confession. I knew Marcus was alive, and I let you believe he was dead. I let you get close to me. I used your pain and your need for revenge because I needed someone David trusted to get inside Sterling Technologies. The words hit her like a physical blow. You knew, this whole time. I justified it by telling myself I was protecting you, that if you knew the full truth, you'd be in more danger. But the reality is I used you, Emma, just like David did, just like everyone in your life seems to. His eyes glistened. And I fell in love with you while I was doing it, which makes it so much worse. Emma's breath caught. You love me. Desperately. Completely. In a way that terrifies me. Alexander's hand tightened on hers. But I won't ask you to forgive me. I won't ask you to stay. You deserve someone who's honest from the start. Someone who doesn't play games with your heart. Someone better than me. Emma stared at him, her mind reeling. He'd lied to her, used her. But he'd also been honest when it mattered most. He'd protected her sister. He'd come to that warehouse knowing it might be a trap. And he'd put his body between her and those guns until his security team could act. You're right, she said finally. You used me, you lied. And if you'd told me the truth from the beginning, I probably would have helped you anyway. Emma, I'm not finished. She sat up, ignoring the pain in her shoulder. For 5 years, David made my choices for me. He shaped my life to suit his needs. And when you came along, I let you do the same thing. But here's what I've learned, Alex. Love isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing each other even when it's messy and complicated and morally gray. What are you saying? I'm saying I love you too. And I'm angry at you. And I don't know if I trust you completely yet. But I want to try. Emma reached up with her good hand, pulling him down until their foreheads touched. I want to build something real with you. Something that's ours. Not revenge, not games. Just us. Alexander's breath shuddered. I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. He kissed her then, soft and reverent, like she was something precious he'd almost lost. When they broke apart, he was smiling through tears. There's something else you should know, he said. The Innovation Awards are tomorrow night, and they've asked you to present. Your research, your work, everything you sacrificed for David, it's yours again. Emma's eyes widened. How? I may have had my lawyers work some magic. Sterling Technologies is being dismantled. The board voted to separate your contributions and return all intellectual property rights to you. You're free, Emma. Free to build your own empire. Free to do things your way. And you? She asked. What will you do? Alexander's smile turned wicked. I thought I might invest in a brilliant entrepreneur I know. If she'll have me as a partner, a real partner this time. Equal stakes, equal say, complete honesty. That sounds dangerously close to a healthy relationship. Terrifying, isn't it? Emma laughed, the sound surprising even her. After everything, after all the darkness and pain and betrayal, here she was. Alive, free, and falling in love with a man who'd seen her at her worst and loved her anyway. Alex, she said softly. Yes? Thank you for saving me, Emma. He kissed her hand. You saved yourself. I just had the privilege of watching you become the queen you always were. 6 months later, Emma stood on stage at the Innovation Awards, the lights bright and warm on her face. In the audience, Alexander sat in the front row, his eyes filled with pride and love. David Sterling was notably absent, serving his sentence in a federal prison. Marcus right there with him. Emma's company, Richardson Technologies, had just been valued at $500 million. The algorithm she'd helped develop, the work David had tried to steal, was changing the world. And tonight, she was being honored not as someone's girlfriend or assistant or pawn, but as herself. Emma Richardson, innovator, leader, survivor. "Thank you," she said into the microphone, her voice steady and strong. "This award isn't just mine. It belongs to everyone who's been underestimated, betrayed, or broken. To everyone who got back up and chose to build something beautiful from the ashes." Her eyes found Alexander's. He mouthed 3 words, "I love you." She smiled, the kind of smile that held secrets and promises, and a future they'd create together. "To everyone who's ever been left behind," Emma continued, her voice ringing through the hall. "Remember this. They didn't break you. They freed you, and what you build next will be extraordinary." The crowd erupted in applause. Emma stepped off the stage and straight into Alexander's arms, his lips meeting hers in a kiss that tasted like triumph and redemption, and love hard won. They'd both been broken. They'd both been betrayed. But together they'd forged something stronger than steel. A love that survived the fire because it was born in the flames. As they walked out of the auditorium hand in hand, Emma looked back one last time at the stage, at the life she'd built from nothing. David Sterling had tried to destroy her. Instead, he'd freed her to become something more powerful than he'd ever imagined. The queen of her own destiny, and the love story she'd never seen coming. The end.